What's going on, guys? It's Steve. So Brandon Jennings just came out and said Phil Jackson's trade rumors with Carmelo Anthony were definitely distracting. The season was a very huge disappointment. They were supposed to be one of the best teams in the league, but they were distracted by the trade rumors surrounding Carmelo. I've said this before, and he's not the first player from the Knicks to say that. Obviously, he plays for the Washington Wizards now, but he's not the first player from the Knicks to say that. Kristaps Porzingis came out and said the same thing a few weeks ago. Derrick Rose came out and said the same thing a few weeks ago. When interviewed after a game, Courtney Lee said the same exact thing, proving that Phil Jackson is at fault for every single damn screw-up with the New York Knicks. When you have all of these players, and keep in mind, those were the best players on the Knicks, okay? Besides Melo, it was Derrick Rose, Kristaps Porzingis, Courtney Lee, and Brandon Jennings being the best players on the Knicks, okay? So when you have these players coming out and saying, literally saying, it's definitely distracting, and it's distracting from us not knowing if Melo's going to be on the team the next day or things like that, and that's our best player, that's our leader. It's definitely distracting. So, once again, he got proved to be an absolute nightmare to this team. I don't know why Danger Dolan, I called him Danger Dolan. Oh my goodness, that's a YouTuber, by the way, Danger Dolan. James Dolan. I don't know, oh, that was pretty crazy. I don't know why James Dolan didn't just go out and fire Phil Jackson. I don't know if it's in his contract that it's a guaranteed 2-year, whatever, $1 million deal. I think it's like $40, $50 million. Whatever the hell it is, I don't know if it's guaranteed, where he can't fire him. The only way he can leave is if he resigns. I don't know if that's the case, but the case should be, in my honest opinion, they should have fired Phil Jackson. Okay? They should have fired him. And, I'm not saying James Dolan is as bad as the Buss family, or, it's not as bad as that situation over there. Because he's made some right decisions, with Mike Woodson and hiring whoever the hell he hired before that. You get the point. The point is that right now, as of right now, this team is an absolute embarrassment, and it's Phil Jackson's fault. Phil Jackson should have been fired. Melo should have said, you know what? And this is why you should really respect Melo. Because if it were any other player, if it were a savage, like a Kobe type player, or like a Michael Jordan or a Larry Bird type player, a savage at their heart, you know damn well they would have went straight to the owner and said, look, you either fire him or I'm leaving. Okay? But in this case, that probably wouldn't work because James Dolan probably thinks it's best to get rid of Melo. And at this point, I believe it's time for Melo to leave. Not because it's best for the Knicks, because it's clearly not. The Knicks are going to be irrelevant. The chances, we had probably a 20% chance of getting any big free agent this offseason. 20%, just because Melo was there. And Derrick Rose, okay, and KP. Now that Melo's gone, those chances, and after what happened with the way they were treating Carmelo, those chances went from 20% all the way down to like 0%. Okay? After the way they treated the best player this franchise has ever had, do you really think, honestly, do you really think that they're going to come and play for the New York Knicks? Any star player? You gotta be out of your damn mind to sit there and think that a star player would want to come to the New York Knicks after how they treated Carmelo and after he leaves. He's most likely going to the Clippers. There's a possibility he goes to the Knicks. I will be very excited if he goes to either team. Because obviously, Cavs are already championship contenders. The Clippers are slight championship contenders. They're like in Spurs territory. Like they're like a 2 to 3% chance of winning. But if you get, because remember, the Clippers were a dominant team to start the season until injuries came. But if you get Carmelo Anthony, that skyrockets to around Golden State Warrior territory. Chris Paul, DeAndre, Melo, Blake, Jamal. Oh my goodness. You know what I mean? So, and Doc Rivers on top of that coaching. I mean, you name it, and this team has it. So, just the fact that all of these players come out just corroborate, or I think that's the right word. Just the fact that all of these players are coming out in Melo's defense just proves that it's not Melo's fault, it's Phil Jackson. It was Phil Jackson all along. And I've been saying this since the beginning, and everyone's saying, Steve, he sucks now, Melo. No, he doesn't. The man, at one point in this season, when what's his name? I don't even remember Coach Hornacek, when he raised the minutes up, and he was playing like 35 minutes per game, and his rotations were consistent. Melo's points per game for a stretch, I think it was like a 2-week stretch, went up to 31 points per game for a 2-week stretch. Okay, and he started averaging 24, 7, and 3 during that for the totality of the season, but in that stretch itself, he was averaging like 31. And he had another stretch where he was averaging 27. Okay, and and these were multiple game stretches, not just 1 or 2 games. We're talking weeks on end. Okay, he also had a stretch where, again, his season average went from 22.5, 23 to 24, 24.5. Okay, but it obviously dropped down now because now they decided, hey, let's just rest Melo, whatever, which is fine. I understand. You good. If I were Melo, I would say, you know what? Fuck you. I ain't playing. But Melo's not that type of player. Carmelo Anthony's not that type of person. Okay? Melo's not the type of person to sit there and be disrespectful, even if he's being disrespected. On the real, he's a gangster. He's a G. Okay? Not in the sense of gangbanging, but you know what I mean. But he's smart. Okay? So I respect Melo 10 times more after this NBA season. You guys should as well, because what is occurring is nothing short of disgusting. And I'm happy that the Knicks teammates, Melo's teammates, are coming out and showing that what's going on is disgusting and it's an absolute travesty. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been your man, Steve. I'm out. Peace.